take us through what true acceptance looks like, because when I've used this word with people before, it seems like you're saying, well, accept it, it's never going to change. And I don't want to accept it, right?
I mean, I do use the word acceptance. And she also wrote a lot about floating. You have to float through panic and float and accept and float and accept. And I don't like those words. I think if Dr. Weeks had the benefit of the internet in her day, she would stop using those words because they create tremendous amounts of confusion. Acceptance does not mean liking it, nor does it mean wanting it. I use the word surrender. And what I actually learned to do after reading Dr. Weeks is, and technically I surrendered. And I surrendered.
You did surrender. That's right. Yeah.
I surrendered. And that's the word that I like to use. But in the end, it's a practice of literally giving up the fight, not giving up your quest to recover. It doesn't mean giving up. But in the moment, it means I'm clearly not successful in fighting this thing when it happens, trying to stop it, manage it, knock it down, manage the symptoms. So I'm just going to let it come and get me because it keeps failing to take me down. As much as it threatens to, it never does. So I'm just going to let it happen. And the first time I ever did that, and that was after reading Hope and Help for Your Nerves, was sitting in the driveway and in the passenger seat of the car. I wrote that in the book. And I felt it coming. You know what it feels like when that panic is rising and you know it's going to happen. Like, okay, this is happening now. And I remember thinking, I asked my mother was in the car with me and I asked her to get out of the car. I'm like, hey, go in the house. I just got to sit here. She was like, really? And I'm like, yep. And I was like, here we go. And I literally just slunk back into the chair and I had to make a moment. And there was a lot of bravery in that moment. I don't take it. That's important. That's part of it. That said, okay, you have to come and get me now. You have to come and kill me now. And I just, that's a hard statement to make. But in the end, it never does. It never does. It never kills you. It never makes you crazy. It doesn't make you pass out. It does, unless you have the exaggerated vasovagal response, which we can talk about that. But most people don't have that. You'd know if you do. But it doesn't do all those horrible things. So I just let my body slump back into the seat of this 1984 Ford Escort. It was a real sweet ride. And I let it come and get me. And I was astounded. It was terrifying, 100% terrifying, because that is not what we are designed to do. We are designed to hang on like hot death to not let bad things happen to us. And I had to do exactly the opposite because Dr. Weeks said so in the book. And when I felt it peak, you know that moment when you start to feel better and all of a sudden you're a superhero, like it's going away?
The adrenaline kicks in and you're like, I can do anything.
You're like the god of thunder at that moment.
Yeah.
That came so fast. And when I say so fast, I would say 8 to 10 minutes, maybe.
Ooh.
Maybe. And I remember, because I remember looking at the clock on the dashboard and like, now 10 minutes of panic is a lot.
Yeah.
But you know how it is. You would go through hours of it up and down and up and down and up and down. And this was like, holy shit, like it worked. I got out of that car and I was like moonwalking down the driveway. I was shaking. I was sweating. I was still not good, but I was so freaking happy.